Good morning, Wabash. Giving today's chapel talk is President Hess. President Hess comes to Wabash from Claremont McKenna College, where he served as the Dean of the Faculty and Vice President of Academic Affairs. He received his undergraduate education from the University of California, Davis, where he graduated with high honors. He went on to receive his master's and Ph.D. in economics from the Johns Hopkins University. President Hess and his wife, Lora, have two daughters, Abigail and Meredith. He is currently in his first year at Wabash College. Giving his talk titled, Why I Am Thankful for Wabash College, President Hess.
Good morning, Wabash. Good morning. Thank you, Ian, for the wonderful introduction. Good morning to both the gentlemen of Wabash College and members of and additional members of the Wabash community. One should always start the day in one's morning by being thankful. If you look around the world at the pattern, severity, and distribution of injustice, I doubt that any of us would be willing to trade our place in life for another draw at life's urn. So remember to be thankful. When I was a kid growing up in San Francisco, a small poster hung in my bedroom, a gift from a neighbor that had the quote from a poem by E.E. Cummings. I thank you, God, for most this amazing day, for the leaping, greenly spirits of trees and the blue, true dream of sky, and for everything which is natural, which is infinite, which is yes. Let me begin by saying how humbled and honored I am to be the 16th president of Wabash College. Wabash is a college that changes lives and provides the liberal arts education for men. I would like to thank the Sphinx Club and for Sky King for reaching out to me and inviting me to give the first chapel talk of the 2013-2014 academic year. I appreciate the opportunity to begin to share my vision of Wabash College with you so that together we may make our great college even that much better. That's my job. That's your job too. Throughout this year, you're going to hear me talk a lot about three important topics. They are, first, the value of a Wabash liberal arts education. Second, our need to continue to expand Wabash's academic footprint. And three, enhancing the leadership capabilities of our young men. Now, I tend not to give long speeches, although ultimately you'll be a better judge of that than I am. So I will not explore all of these topics in this talk today. However, during this year, we will begin a conversation on each of these three important topics. The first topic, the value of a liberal arts education, will be the focus of my inaugural speech. The second, our need to continue to expand our academic footprint, will be the focus of our ongoing strategic planning efforts that will be highlighted this semester. The third topic, enhancing the leadership capabilities of our students, will also be part of our ongoing strategic planning efforts. It will be a constant refrain in our visioning of the college, and we will work with the Dean of Students' Office this year to continue to find ways that students can help define and hone their personal vision of success. That's the roadmap that I'm trying to lay out for this year. Having spent some time listening and meeting with faculty and students, staff and alumni, I have a broadly gauged idea of where we're headed. But truth be told, it's better that the cake not yet be fully baked on where we are headed and how we will get there, because I think we still have a lot to learn through additional conversation this year about where we need to go. So it is probably not best if I lay out a grand strategy for where we're headed right now, since we have a lot of good and hard work to do together before such a wise and implementable strategy emerges. So sorry, everyone, I can't give you the detailed roadmap speech today. Now, another time-honored option for a chapel talk, and I've watched a lot on YouTube, is to tell you about myself, who I am, how I got here, and why I got here. Unfortunately, such a speech runs counter to what I said I would do as president of Wabash College, which is to tell the story about Wabash College, not be the story of Wabash College. As an economist, I have always believed that leadership matters, but I have always thought that institutions mattered even more than leadership. Now, I don't plan to debate this topic today, but I do want to share with you the best advice and the most succinct description I have received on what a college president is supposed to do. The advice came from a friend, Steve Koblick, a wonderful scholar and mentor who is the president of the Huntington Library and who was prior to that the president of Reed College for over a decade. He told me that the role of a college president is to understand the college, embrace its distinctive culture, and use this embrace to strengthen the institution. It's great advice for which I am thankful. So I plan to spend this year, embracing and being thankful for Wabash College and articulating some of the things about the college and its culture that I think are distinctive and that I have come to love and admire. But let's start with a big caveat for everyone. This is not meant to be a comprehensive list. It's a selective list based on the entirety of 60 days' experience. So I'm announcing loud and clear ahead of time the caveat that my list is ongoing, that omissions from my list are not implicit criticisms, that my thanks are in no particular order, and that this is not the last chapel talk where I will sing thy praises, Old Wabash. Let's start with number one, the things I'm thankful for about Wabash College. It's our mission statement, to educate men to think critically, act responsibly, lead effectively, and live humanely. The first initials of think, act, lead, and live spell tall, and we ask each Wabash man to stand tall. The college's mission statement is perhaps the most elegant, succinct, informative, and parsimonious as that of any liberal arts college that I know. It could only be improved upon if it were a haiku. So work on it. These elements of our mission, I tried, I couldn't get there. These elements of our mission statement are timeless and timely, applicable in general and in the specific, and both aspirational and attainable. The mission statement is what we do. We are here to educate young men so that they can stand tall. I am thankful for that. Number two on the list of reasons I am thankful for Wabash College is our rule. If the mission statement is elegant and succinct, and if it is applicable in the general and in the specific, then our gentleman's rule, to quote Christopher Guest in Spinal Tap, goes to 11. Seriously, if there was a perfect code of conduct for a college for gentlemen, then our rule is the dictionary definition. The student is expected to conduct himself at all times, both on and off campus, as a gentleman and responsible citizen. The gentleman's rule is both our expectation of you and the ideal to which we help you to strive. The gentleman's rule lifts up our collective sights, just as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s did 50 years ago when he lifted our nation's sights on civil rights at the March on Washington. And in his commemoration of that event yesterday, President Obama said, "The arc of the moral universe may bend towards justice, but it doesn't bend on its own. To secure the gains this country has made requires constant vigilance and not complacency." Similarly, our gentleman's rule requires constant vigilance, not complacency. Taken with the mission statement, think, act, lead, and live, the gentleman's rule gives you enormous freedom to shape the direction of your time at Wabash, to shape your arc throughout your lives. Number three on my list of reasons that I am thankful for Wabash College is our motto, Scientiae et Virtute, wisdom and knowledge. The National Association of Wabash Men President Greg Estelle referred to our motto in his speech at Saturday's ring-in ceremony as guts and know-how. It's part of the how we deliver our mission. Until you spend time at Wabash, you can't really appreciate how much this place drips with commitment to our very unique purpose. I am thankful for our motto's contribution to how we deliver our mission. Let me walk you through some examples that I have witnessed of guts and know-how during my short time here at Wabash. These are the who show us the how so that we can accomplish the what. Let's first begin with a couple of student athletes I've had the pleasure of knowing this summer. I try to make it to the fitness center a few times a week. When you get to be my age, you tend to migrate away from the heavy bar and free weights and saunter on over where it's a little bit safer at the elliptical machines and the stationary bike. Now, my attendance is not perfect, but I can honestly say that every time I was there, senior Nate Scola was chalked up, muttering beat wit, which took me a while to figure out, while recording in a notebook every set of reps that he took. Even more impressive, all the while he was doing this, he was motivating countless others to work harder. I've been similarly inspired by another senior, Patrick Carter. Somehow he ended up with a broken bone in his foot, and he was in a boot all summer. He too seemed to be at the fitness center every time I was there, working on what he could while simultaneously reading a book, in order that he could bounce back as soon as possible from his setback. But while I am sure he is disappointed to miss his senior cross-country season, he didn't show it, he never complained. Rather, he talked about the track season and his future. His commitment and his stick-to-itiveness, shared with Nate, showed me the stuff of which Wabash men are made. Staff were also working hard this summer. Thank you, Dave Morgan, Tim Riley, Matthew McGoy, for keeping the campus looking great. Thank you, Joe Clent and his advancement colleagues for exceeding our target for the annual fund. And thank you, Kathy Metz, for exceptional grace under pressure. I'm also thankful for our new leadership at the Malcolm X Institute for Black Studies. Willard Collar, class of '57, and his wife Marta invested substantial time and sweat equity this summer on an enormous clean-out effort of the building, including a long, hot, lost weekend just digging out the kitchen. He has also facilitated a lot of outreach to alums of different vintages and current student leadership and faculty so that the MXI can connect both to its history and its traditions, its overlapping vintages of alumni, as well as to a new generation of Wabash men. I've been impressed by how much Willard wants to give back to Wabash and how much his deep professional experience will help to shape our institution's approach to and thinking about inclusivity. I also spent a lot of time wandering around campus buildings this summer, just randomly. I would pick a building and see who was around. I don't think I ever went into Baxter Hall when Professor Michelle Rhodes did not have on her Bose headphones while working on her next project. She's a great spokesperson for Bose headphones, by the way. Not to be outdone, there were numerous faculty in the sciences working with students in their labs. I got to meet Lora Wasaki, Amanda Ingram, James Brown, Eric Wetzel, and others were just some of the visits that I had in the lab. On more than one occasion, the students in the labs were asked to give impromptu presentations, and while unscripted, they all delivered their understanding and enthusiasm for their projects, and their stories spoke to me about the value that students have for their faculty mentors here at Wabash. I'm not even sure where I was the day that I ran into philosophy professor Cheryl Hughes, having a one-on-one tutorial with a student, when I randomly barged in and joined the conversation. She was gracious, pure and simple, which I sincerely appreciate and am thankful for. Probably two things struck me most during my summer wanderings at Wabash. First was the continued tremendous commitment that emeritus faculty have for Wabash College. Not only are these faculty members fully committed to their craft and students, not only were they fully committed during their careers, but they seemed to remain deeply engaged even after they retired and the paycheck stopped coming. Most poignant in my mind is a long summer conversation I had with retired classics professor Leslie Day about her work on a career-long project from the island of Crete and the tenacity and focus she brought to completing her project. Not to be outdone are the long conversations about the college I've had with David Phillips and Raymond Williams, and the longer ones I need to have with all, among others, Melissa Butler and David Hadley. They all became legends at Wabash and found it within themselves to make sure that the baton of teaching commitment and the noble sense of the academy was safely handed to the next generation of Wabash faculty. For this, I am enormously thankful. My second aha moment came when I provided some remarks just a few weeks ago at a college workshop put together by the Teaching and Learning Committee. I want to thank the committee and faculty who attended the workshop last week. The topic was how best to help freshman students in their first 100 days. This was a voluntary half-day meeting on a beautiful summer's day at an off-campus location, and approximately 60 out of 80 faculty plus 10 staff participated in a seminar on how best to teach freshmen. They didn't have to be there, and yet they felt called to be there. No other elite institution, in my experience, could compare in terms of passion or participation. Now, the cinnamon rolls did look good. I'll tell you, I almost went for it, but they certainly weren't good enough to get everybody there that morning. Simply put, these faculty demonstrated to me the teacher-scholar experience at Wabash is simply amazing. We do have plenty to be thankful for. My final shout-out goes to the alumni. I've been to golf outings in Chicago and Indy, student send-offs in St. Louis and Indianapolis, and met with trustees and alums in Los Angeles and Chicago. Alums love their college. They love the leadership it instilled in them, and they love the connections and brotherhood that they formed. One alum, Jim Ray from the class of 1995, met me in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and took me to his new startup in Lowell, where he and over a half dozen Wabash interns were getting his new company off the ground. We spent about half the day together, and I think those students deeply appreciated Jim's guts and know-how, not to mention his generosity, and I know that they downloaded a little part of that into their lives for themselves. The final aspect of Wabash for which I'm thankful is our distinctiveness as a college for men. You may have noticed by now that there are a lot of male students here. That is not a mistake. Part of Wabash College's mission is to be a liberal arts college for men. I get it. But by many social indicators, men are falling behind. In primary classroom performance, college attendance, particularly in liberal arts colleges. They're falling behind in college graduation rates, employment, etc. Other social ills, such as the rise in families headed by single parents, mostly mothers, is yet another sign that the responsibility gap is growing for men. Prominent pundits and academics suggest that a wide swath of guys are now avoiding responsibility and living on their parents' couches. These guys are lacking a seriousness of purpose. But what we do at Wabash, what we tend to in our garden at Wabash, is an answer to what ails men. Wabash addresses these social shortfalls in serious ways via our educational mission for men to stand tall and our gentleman's rule. That's why I am thankful for Wabash as a liberal arts college for men. But I won't stop there. I want to combine our great motto and mission with an even greater dose of ambition. So here's our mojo. I want to move from A to thee and from but to and. I'm not interested in being just a liberal arts college for men. I'm excited to be the liberal arts college for men. I want us to move from we're a liberal arts college, but it's for men, to we're a liberal arts college and it's for men. That's what I mean by from A to thee, from but to and. And as long as I'm president, I will never apologize for Wabash being the liberal arts college for men. And I'll ask you never to do so as well. It is what makes us distinctive. It is what makes us great. We need to demonstrate and educate others about how best to educate men. To continue to make Wabash great, I need your pride, I need your courage, I need your guts, and I need your know-how. And the great thing is, I know I'll get it. That's why I'm thankful for Wabash College.